It was her voice, sharp and deliberate, that cut through the dinner table air like a blade. My ex will always have access to me. That's not up for negotiation. The fork slipped from my hand, clattering against the plate. For a moment, I thought I'd misheard her. But the way her eyes held mine, steady, unblinking, challenging, told me she meant every word. The room swam. The tick of the wall clock thundered in my ears. I tried to speak, but my throat seized. Access to you. The words scraped out like broken glass. She nodded calmly, as if she had declared nothing more controversial than which movie to watch. Yes. We've been through too much. He'll always be part of my life, and if you love me, you'll accept that. The betrayal didn't come like fire. It came like ice, creeping, numbing, paralyzing. I felt my chest cave in, the dinner I'd cooked for us cooling, untouched, between us. I wanted to scream, to pound the table, to demand how she could say something like that to her husband. Instead, I whispered, "So what am I, then? A placeholder while he keeps the keys to your heart, and your body?" She flinched but didn't retreat. "Don't twist this, Mark. You knew about our history when we got together. You knew it wasn't just going to vanish." I pushed back from the table, the chair screeching against the floor. I paced the kitchen, my hands trembling. For months, maybe years, I'd ignored the red flags. The late-night messages she swore were work emergencies. The unexplained absences. The way she avoided questions about where she had been. And I, like a fool, rationalized it all. She was stressed. She was tired. She was loyal. I wanted so desperately to believe that. But now, the truth was delivered in her own words. Her ex still had access. I turned to her, my voice cracking under the weight of betrayal. "Do you hear yourself? You're asking me to share my marriage with another man." "I'm not asking," she shot back, a dangerous calm in her tone. "I'm telling you who I am. If you can't handle that, maybe we shouldn't be married." That was the dagger. Not even a plea, not a tear, not a hint of remorse. Just an ultimatum, sharp and merciless. That night, I didn't sleep. I sat in the living room with the lights off, staring at the shadows on the walls. Memories rushed me like waves, our wedding day, her vows whispered through tears, her laughter filling the house we'd bought together. Were those lies, too? Or had they been real once, before she decided her past mattered more than our present? The following morning, I went to work hollow-eyed, a walking shell. I barely heard my colleagues. My mind was locked in a cage of replaying her words, her tone, her face. I imagined them together, her ex's hands on her, her voice whispering the things she used to whisper to me. By the third day, I broke. I drove to an attorney's office, my stomach coiled in knots. Filing for divorce felt like stepping off a cliff. My pen shook as I signed the papers, but when the ink bled onto the page, a strange calm settled over me. When I handed her the papers, she laughed. Actually laughed. "You're really doing this? Over that? You'll regret it." "No," I said, my voice steadier than I felt. "The regret would be staying married to someone who thinks fidelity is optional." She thought she had the upper hand. She thought, even then, that she could crush me in court. Her smirk told me as much when she stormed out with the documents clutched in her hand. But life has a way of cutting down arrogance. When we finally sat in the courtroom, her lawyer puffed his chest, rattling on about spousal support, her sacrifices, the alimony she deserved. She crossed her legs, smug, as if the victory was already hers. Then my attorney slid one single paper across the table. Her lawyer's jaw slackened as he read it. The color drained from his face. He turned to her slowly, whispering something I couldn't hear. But I saw her smirk fade, saw her lips press into a tight line, saw her confidence crack like glass. It was proof, messages, photos, bank statements, evidence of her infidelity and financial deceit, compiled carefully, quietly, while I drowned in doubt. The judge looked at her with thinly veiled disappointment. "Given this evidence, Mrs. Andrews, alimony is not only denied, but you will be responsible for covering your own legal fees." The silence that followed was deafening. Her face crumbled, her hands gripping the edge of the table. I didn't smile. There was no victory here, only ash. But in that moment, I finally felt the weight lift from my chest. Walking out of that courthouse, papers in hand, the autumn air sharp against my skin, I realized something. Love without respect is a prison. Trust without honesty is suicide. And loyalty given to the unworthy is the cruelest betrayal of all. She had tried to shackle me with her ultimatum, to make me accept a life of half-love, half-truths, and constant humiliation. But I walked away. And though the scars will remain, at least I'll never again wake up wondering who has access to the woman beside me. She isn't my wife anymore. And that, finally, is freedom.